and they're going to be paying me attention. They're going to be running behind me, trying to find out who I am after I do what I'm going to do, because I'm going to get somebody's attention. That's glory. People start wars. Presidents start wars. Emperors start wars, saying, nobody's paying me no attention. I'm a president of a country. But nobody even knows about my country being on the map. But after I go over there and start a ruckus in that other person's living room, they're going to know who I am. And my country and me, as the leader of my country, will be all over the news tomorrow. And everybody will be looking at the map trying to find out who I am. So in answer to the question, those three things all creatures want. So the white supremacists want it through the system of white supremacy. Fun, glory, and material comfort. They get a whole lot of all three of those things from practicing racism. That's why they are racist, and they don't want to turn loose to it, because it is so profitable. You get more out of the system of white supremacy than anybody has ever in all of recorded history got out of any other system. It's the most profitable system for the people who practice it than any other system of government ever thought up. So-called communism, capitalism, whatever that means, and whatever communism means, socialism, all these different isms, all the religions put together don't match what a white supremacist get from practicing white supremacy. All of them put together will not bring in as much profit in the form of fun, glory, and material comfort as just that one thing, dominating and mistreating people based on color, will bring you more fun, more glory, and more material comfort than all the other systems combined. That's why it is so hard for a white person to say, well, let's just get rid of racism and replace it with something other than racism. It's hard. They look at what racism does. It brings in so much. There's some glitches, and it makes you feel bad about doing some things and all like that. But, boy, the profits are enormous when it comes to the fun, glory, and material comfort.
All righty.
In this conversation, Neely Fuller Jr. reaffirms his central message. The system of white supremacy dominates every area of life on the planet, and black people cannot hope to replace it without first agreeing upon practicing a code of conduct. He explains that in a world run by white supremacy, there can only be one heavyweight champion, and right now, that champion is the white supremacist. For black people to survive, let alone overcome, they must rely on a code of behavior that provides direction, discipline, and accountability. Without a code, he argues, black people are left vulnerable, unprotected, and in chaos. During the Q&A session, Fuller is asked about the motivations of white supremacists. He responds by laying out three primary drivers: fun, glory, and material things. White supremacists, he says, often find entertainment in harming, humiliating, or even destroying black people. They also seek glory in wars and violence and being remembered as powerful figures who dominated others. Finally, the system of racism is materially profitable, which makes it both attractive and necessary to the white supremacist world order. This pursuit of profit and power ensures that white supremacy is not only protected, but also refined, adjusted, and continually practiced.
Okay, Yojita, I'm going to keep you on the line, and I hope everybody heard that, and I really hope that those with discernment heard exactly what Mr. Fuller just said. Discernment. It's prophetic. Discernment. Helen B. Man, it's been a long time. Get ready, Helen B. from New York. Here we go. Go ahead, Helen B.
Greetings. What is the codified way to respond when someone misquotes your words or from the book, whether they're white or non-white?
You just respond with the codified way and say that they have misinterpreted what is written. The languages can sometimes be confusing, but sometimes people will take material and put a spin on it that was not the intention of the writer. People do this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So the way to correct something that's non-correct, these are the categories, correct and non-correct, is to correct what's non-correct. Truth is better than falsehood. So when you find something that's false, you point it out. This is false. This is false. And so when you find something that's false, then what's the logical procedure? Find what is true. So I have misquoted people or said something, quoted something rather, and put somebody else's name on it that I didn't intend to put on it. So that is sending out false information, and that is always deadly. If Thomas Paine said something, and I said Thomas Jefferson said it, that's two different people.
Mm-hmm.
That's false. You don't spread false information. Put the correct label on the correct can. You don't put chicken noodle soup in a can that says tomato. That's two different things altogether. No matter how pretty the sign is or the label is, it's giving out false information. You bring it home and you sit down and say, I'm going to have a fine meal of chicken noodle soup. I love it. And you open the can and you got tomato soup. Now, that's a problem. So you're making problems when you do that. And particularly when you do it deliberately. And so stop doing it. Just don't do it. Make sure you do what you should do, and that's reveal truth from A to Z, not up until R, and then load it up, the rest of it, the alphabet, up with a bunch of falsehood. That causes what? Disappointment and confusion. And confusion is something that is anti-code altogether.
Mm-hmm.
You're never supposed to have confusion about anything, ever. That's not supposed to happen. That's code.
Okay. All righty, Helen B., thank you. I missed you online today, or rather in the chat room, but thank you very much and for being such a loyal listener. Going out to California, Santa Cruz. Used to be a first-time caller, but he's not anymore. And we thank you for listening. Charles, get ready. You are now on with Mr. Fuller. All right, Charles, let's have it.
Good morning, Mr. Bobby. Good morning, Mr. Fuller.
Good morning.
I'm glad to be able to speak with you guys again. I did have one question this morning. My question is, would black people be able to handle not being in the system of white supremacy? And the reason I ask that is because we don't produce anything to the world, as to say airplanes, cars, any kind of industry. We don't own coal mines. We're not producers. And would we be able to sustain ourselves and handle ourselves if we wasn't in this system? And is that why this system has overcome and overtaken us? are we less intelligent than the white race, and is that why we're in this position? I know that's two questions, I'm sorry, but yes, could you maybe answer some of that for me, please?
Yeah.
Thank you, Charles. Okay.
We need, and I didn't finish answer the lady that called in previously. I told her about white people needed black people. Black people need white people. We don't know anything about how to get anything done that we don't learn from them. Now, a lot of black people, particularly people in what you call academia, like to talk about, well, 10,000 years ago, we ruled the world. And you can say that, and it might be true. It might be even 600 years ago. I mean, black people were the brainiest people ever. Black people taught everybody everything. It wasn't nothing that black people didn't know about the entire universe. Black people know the names of all the planets, zillions of them. You know, I mean, hey, when you get on that roll, you can just roll around in that like forever. You can say, you know what? Black people are not no inferior people. We're the greatest thing that the Creator ever made. In fact, we created the Creator. You know, we can say that. And for what purpose? So we can feel good, okay? And for another reason, we don't have to do nothing. Just roll around all day talking about black people know everything. And ain't nothing to pick out any black person on the street, and it ain't nothing that black person don't know about everything. I mean, we are the smartest people that ever was and ever will be. It ain't going to ever be anybody smarter than us. We can say that. And for what reason? The reason we usually say that, for those who say it, and that's what? To feel good. Yeah, you can get a good high off of that. That's great cocaine. But up against white supremacy, it ain't worth 2 cents, because that's what it's proven to be. Everything that black people has done, I mean, it's been a real struggle just to get a sandwich at a lunch counter. All of us great empire builders. So I never joined that train. Once I started hearing it in the 1960s, I said, I'm not with that at all. I'm with what's happening now. And what's happening now, we are flatline. Don't come to me, and I don't want to hear no long sermon about how great we used to be. I want to deal with what is happening right this minute. And what is happening right this minute is ugly. All of it. And black people ain't hitting on nothing, including myself. And that's the position I take. Why? Is that an intelligent position to take? I say yes. Why? Because when you look at it that way, that gives me the incentive to solve problems. Why? Because I'm the one with the problems. But if I take the position that, well, I got a whole lot of problems now, but I got a granddad that didn't have no problems because he knew everything. And then I walk around barefoot. That's not helping me. Every general in every army wants to know, first of all, what? Am I losing? Am I at a disadvantage? Because my job as a general in an army, and we are in a war, is to get in a position of advantage, which means I want reports that are accurate, and don't make no difference what the reports are if it makes me feel bad, because this is not about feelings. This is about getting the things that need correcting corrected. I think it was Harry S. Truman who said, and he used vulgar language, so I won't use that here on this podcast, but people will know what I'm talking about, I think. He said he does not want a blank kisser, referring to someone's rear end. He said he doesn't want nobody who does that on his staff. Somebody who's always coming in telling them something to make him feel good. He says, I want somebody who will come in and tell me the truth about how bad I'm doing in my campaign, or how bad the war is going in Korea, or something like that. Give me, some people even have, down through history, said, give me the bad news first. I don't want to hear nothing about the good news. The good news will take care of itself. I want to hear the bad news, because that's what I'm going to have to deal with. And the code position, I'm going to say this to all the audience right now, is strictly that. I mean, I don't want to hear nothing about black people's progress. I'm not interested in that. That takes care of itself. No parades or none of that nonsense, according to the code. That's nonsense. Let's look at the problems and roll up your sleeves and get with them. Eliminate the problems. No hallelujahs, none of that. Jubilee time can wait. We can get around to that any old time. Don't waste your time and energy talking about something that happened 1,000,000 years ago. Use your time and energy now, because you only got but a little bit of time and energy. I know that's my case. I got just a little bit of energy right this minute. And by being logical, my time is very, very short for me to be around on this planet. And to use that time sitting around talking about what my grandfather used to be is a crime against my Creator. I'm not going to spend 5 minutes doing that. Ever. Of course, that's me. And that's what the code recommends. Don't spend not 1 ounce of time doing that. The counter races compensatory code. Spend all of your time trying to figure out how to get over that next obstacle, or the one that's right there in front of you right now, rather than go somewhere and sit on a log and talk about the things that you used to do, or even the things that you did yesterday that need doing. Say, okay, I've been there and done that. What's the next problem? It's like the batter at the mound. Hey, throw the ball. Say, well, what about that ball last game? That was the last game. This is this game. Keep your eye on the ball. That's where that came from, that expression.
Mm-hmm.
You start thinking about what happened yesterday, you're going to lose the series. Wow. I hope I made the point.
Let me see, Charles, did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. But I also was trying to find out, could we handle it? I don't think that we could. I feel like we couldn't handle it by looking at what we're doing today.
We need a code for handling problems. That's all. This is a problem. Black people are flatlined. We don't have anything to brag about. We're the joke of the entire world. So how do you get out of that? By solving problems. That's how everybody is. That's how a baby makes progress. We are babies. The baby falls down, but the baby holds on to the side of the crib, to the top of the crib. If the baby's in a crib, the baby didn't know that 6 weeks ago, maybe. But by trial and error, the baby could look through the bars, you might say, and this definitely applies to black people. We're looking through bars. We're coming through the world looking through bars, because we got all kind of bars against us. But we look between the bars, and we learn things like the baby does, looking through the bars of the crib, if they still have those type cribs. Mm-hmm. And the baby can see, oh, that person is doing something that they later find out is a thing called walking. So the baby tries to turn over and get up on those legs and do what the baby sees other creatures doing. And the baby falls down and cries, but the baby gets up again. People have watched babies. Lots of people who are listening to this podcast have had babies, the females. They have watched babies. You can learn a lot from watching babies, and we're still babies. So that fundamental doesn't change. You fall down when you first try to do something you haven't tried before. But you get up. Next thing you know, the baby's holding on to the rails on the crib. Say, oh, this is how you can stay up. And then the baby gets to the place where the baby can walk around in the crib like those other creatures do. Then the baby wants to do what? Get out of the crib.
Get out of the crib,
and walk around like those other creatures. But when the baby gets out of the crib, the baby starts falling down again. And it cries, and we cry, but we do what? Well, crying time is over. Time to get busy, solving problems. Because crying ain't helping.
Okay.
See, the baby finds out the crying don't help after a while.
Crying don't help. Okay. Thank you, Charles. You did good this time. Thank you. Mr. Fuller, we are coming in on the end of the program, so guess what we're going to do? We're going to talk about your book for about 3 minutes or so, and then we're going to have you close it out. So, Mr. Fuller, the floor is yours. Proceed, sir.
Yes, you can go to producejustice.com, and right now we're having glitches like you have in a war. You have setbacks. We're having a setback now in the production of the book for all kinds of reasons that are not reasons. They are excuses that I'm giving. But within the greater scheme of things, there are reasons, and it's all my fault. Why? Because I don't know enough about what I'm trying to do to keep my books available. But I'm trying to learn, like the baby that keeps falling down. And I do my little crying, but I see that doesn't work, so I'm getting up. I'm trying to get those books back on available. They're in 3 volumes, really, of the same book. One of them is obsolete, but a lot of people say it ain't obsolete. It's obsolescent. And so that I go along with what people say. What's the difference between obsolete and obsolescent? Obsolete means it no longer exists, and it can't be used for nothing. Obsolescent means it's just older, and it's been updated. So I have now the older version of an updated volume of the code. But that would be just for probably the next week or 2 at the very most. And then I'll have the updated version, the 2016 edition. It'll say so on the cover. And it'll be back on producejustice.com. When you go there, you'll be seeing it. And I have some word guides. They told me that there are some word guides that are left. And that part of the volume is 2 volumes, 2 books rather, of the same, 2 volumes of the same book. But the word guide portion tells you how to use words, which I've been trying to do on this broadcast today. How to use words, how not to use words. What words to ask questions about, and there are literally hundreds of them when other people use them. And recently there's been a whole lot of language, a whole lot of words in the English language that have come up, like mass shooter, active shooter. I've been trying to keep up with some of them. And there are all kinds of slogans.
Okay, quickly, Mr. Fuller, who is the book for before we have to wrap it up?
It's for victims of white supremacy. Now, if you don't consider yourself as a non-white person to be a victim of white supremacy, then the book is not for you. You can go and just read other books. But if you consider yourself being victimized, being harmed by racism in any way, small or large, and there's a leftover there in here in the background from yesterday.
Yeah, I heard that, yeah.
Yes, right. We don't need no more of that. Black people need to hear no more gunfire at all ever again in life. But the books will help us to reach that goal.
All right.
No gunfire.
No gunfire, yeah.
Car backfiring, but no gunfire, nobody being dead from any means that is deliberate and malicious.
Yeah.
Go to producejustice.com.
Yeah, the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in the air.
Yeah, we don't need any more of that.
We've
had enough of that forever.
Exactly.
Right.
All right, well, thank you, Mr. Fuller. Thank you, callers and Gmailers and people in the chat. You've been just with us. You helped us through the program. We made it through. So thank you, and we hope to do better next week. Thank you, Mr. Fuller. Thank you, everybody. Have a good week.
Yes.
A caller then asked Fuller whether black people would be able to handle life outside of the system of white supremacy. Fuller's answer is sobering. Black people, as of right now, are deeply dependent on this system for survival. Everything we know, food, shelter, employment, even our very sense of existence, is structured through white-controlled systems. Because of this, Fuller warns, we must be honest about our current condition and recognize that we have not built a sustainable system independent of white supremacy. Until we face this reality, we cannot move towards true freedom. Fuller also takes time to critique certain scholars and leaders from within the black community who focus almost exclusively on African achievements of the past. While he does not dismiss the importance of history, he argues that feel-good history, learning about pyramids, kingdoms, and great civilizations, does little to solve the problems black people face today. Fuller observes that many black Americans enjoy this kind of history because it offers temporary pride, but it does not bring about structural change in the present. Knowledge of the past is not enough if it is disconnected from solving immediate real-world situations. In closing, Fuller stresses that black Americans must shift their focus from nostalgia and symbolic victories to practical problem solving in the here and now. The system of white supremacy is still active, still powerful, and still shaping the conditions of black life every day. If we want to dismantle it, we must build plans rooted in our current reality, guided by a compensatory code that helps us make the best decisions for survival and achievement. Without this focus, he warns, we will remain trapped in the same cycle, admiring history while continuing to suffer under the same oppressive system.